Alrighty, so UFC Tatsuro Taira versus Hyung Sung Park or whatever the fuck his name was just happened over the weekend, and I'm here to give you my picks and predictions for the next card coming up, which is Roman Dolidze versus Anthony Hernandez, aka the Battle of the Flukers. Okay, somehow these guys just keep on winning despite all the odds. All right, but I'm a little under the weather. If you couldn't tell because of my voice, maybe you're new around here, feel free about sticking around. I do my picks and predictions. We went 8-1 on the last card if you remove women fights because I don't take them seriously. We'll get into why. But, yeah, if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. I'm not sure how many videos I'm going to be getting out this week, but normally I do, shoot for 3, maybe hit 4 every week. So hit that subscribe button, notification bell. Anyways, with that being said, I am sick, alright, but I'm going to try to keep the energy. Let's keep going. So, Gabriel Fernandez versus Julia Stoller, I can't with these fucking names while I'm sick. God damn. I haven't had time to look at this card too much, okay? I've been kind of sick while dealing with some other things going on, but it is what it is. So this is going to be pretty much my instant reaction to most of the prediction here. So if you don't know, some people use logic and reasoning for their women's fights. Maybe you're new around the betting scene. Some people use the pick doctor, okay? Like an AI, basically, that runs simulations of 100,000 fights of 2 fighters. I myself prefer the tried and true method of a coin flip, baby. For my women's fights, that is. Gabriel Fernandez, Julio, whatever the fuck. Julia, maybe. Julia, yeah. Julia, I don't fucking know. Heads is the woman on the left, tails is the woman on the right. Tails. I said tails on the right, I think. God damn, my brain's cooked. Looks like we're going Julia Stoller, yeah, don't care. 29-28, vintage women decision. Ooh, she's the underdog, is she? Yikes. Uh-oh. Is this Gabriel, the lady? Yeah, she beat Kong Wang. She whooped Kong Wang, too. Ooh, not good. Not good. Yeah. Hey, you know what? Fuck it, we ball. Alright, we ride with the coin, we stay on the coin. Moving on to real fights. Uros Medic versus Gilbert Urbina. Uros Medic, he was one of these guys that a lot of people were talking big ups, He was one of these guys that was talked about like, sort of like a Terrence McKinney in a way, where he's super hyped, but maybe he's got like a loss or 2 in there. Now I think we've realized Uros Medic is like, okay, but he's not going to be top 10. He's not going to be bottom 15, lightweight, He's probably... Is he fighting at welterweight? Because I know he competes, like, kind of at welterweight slash... Okay, this is at welterweight. I swear he's fought at lightweight earlier in his career. Yeah, he's having a... To be fair, he is going against, like, good comp, like, to his credit. This Gilbert Urbina guy finished by Charles Radke. I don't like that. After Charles Radke just got fucking smoked because he didn't move his fucking head against Mike Malott. He beat that guy, and then combat whatever the fuck this is, alright? And if you don't know, I'm a UFC fan. I don't watch LF No One Asked, alright? Or One True fucking Nobody Gives a Fuck, alright? I watch UFC. So my prediction here is gonna be... Ooh, this is a rough one, because Uros Medic is a type of dude to, like, fumble. But I feel like this is sort of set up for him to win. He is a heavy favorite, too. He finished Matthew Semmelsberger. That's kind of hard to do in hindsight. Ooh, this one's tough. I think I'm just going to go Uros Medic and hope that he doesn't get fluked, but I'll be honest, I'm not, like, confident. Like, I would never bet money on Uros Medic on any fight until he gets, like, a 5-fight win streak going or something. This guy's very inconsistent. Sometimes his striking's good, and then he's got really low IQ on the ground, and sometimes his... his ability to push a pace with his grappling is, like, okay. And then he just makes, like, he's really bad at decision making, He is kind of dumb in there. So, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets, like, fluke KO'd by this Gilbert Urbina guy. If I remember correctly, Gilbert Urbina is more of a grappler type of dude, and Uros is a little bit more of a striking type dude. But again, man, like, I can't trust the IQ that much, but I'm gonna trust it enough to beat a guy like Gilbert Urbina. I don't like jiu-jitsu guys who have, like, not great striking. Gilbert Urbina doesn't have great striking, and if Charles Radke can find the chin, almost anyone can find the chin, I think, you know? I know Charles Radke's a little bit of a 50-50 fighter. Sometimes he looks like a world beater, sometimes he looks like a can to be crushed. But most of the time he is a victim, and you lost to a victim. Like, I can't do that, you know? At this point in the UFC predicting stage. So, I'm going Uros Medic. Moving on, we have Jocelyn Edwards versus Priscilla Gequeira. So, we're going to do the coin, okay? But, you know, heads on the left, tails on the right. But let's just say I hope the coin picks correct here, okay? I said heads on the left. We got tails. Okay, so we're going against the coin. Yeah, we're definitely going against the coin here. We're going Jocelyn Edwards. Jocelyn Edwards is actually a woman I remember watching her fight. She's, like, pretty good in the striking. And she kind of only loses when she's outpaced. You know? And, yeah, those are shit losses, to be fair. But, you know, this is a year ago, guys. Women can improve. Alright? And I do like my black queens. Okay? So, we're going to go with Jocelyn Edwards. Yeah, and that's pretty much it, you know? This Priscilla Cachoeira guy, Priscilla Cachoeira woman, okay? Yeah, I just... Anyways. Yeah, Miranda Maverick sucks. I mean, all these, like, why do I care? This, like, women is just 50-50. Whoever gets a fluke fucking finish, or whoever gets the nod that day with the judges. I'm going to go with Jocelyn Edwards. She looks more attractive. And I don't want to bet two dogs because of the coin. So, you know, coin went 0-2 last time. You know, we're putting some actual thought process into some of the women's fights. Moving on, Elisha Smith versus Poshomi Kazama. Elisha Smith. Why the fuck do I not remember this guy? I keep on thinking of the guy who looks like Chris Curtis, that wrestler guy who just made a debut against, who was it? Was it like Nicholas Dalby or some shit? Or Nico Price? I think he just made his debut against Nico Price. Who the fuck is this guy? Vince Morales, eh? Okay. Okay, that's like a name. Alright. Charlampos, yeah, nobody gives a fuck. Garrett Armfield, he lost to by KO, and Garrett Armfield's kind of showcase he's kind of shit nowadays. Why the fuck do I not remember this Elijah Smith guy? Oh, he's coming off his debut against Vince Morales. Vince Morales is like, he is a can, but he's not like that shit, you know? 22 is pretty young. Eesh. Damn. He went off... Damn, he's lost to Rinya Nakamura and Garrett Armfield. Those are two, like, decent names, though. Like, Garrett Armfield's better than Vince Morales, that's for sure. Ooh, this is tough. This is tough. Everyone's picking Smith, eh? Holy shit. Smith by KO is crazy. I don't know, he couldn't finish Vince Morales. Who the fuck? Why can't I think of this Vince Morales guy? Well, is it just my brain being cooked? Vince Morales. Oh, yeah, Vince Morales ain't too bad. This guy, he's pretty, if I remember correctly, he's pretty fucking explosive. He just fought someone, right? Yeah, Raul Rosas Jr. Yeah. He got a lot of respect in that fight, even though he got crushed like a can. But he had, like, good moments against Raul Rosas Jr. Yeah, Vince Morales, eh? Why do I not remember this Elijah Smith fight whatsoever? Taylor Lapilus, like, that's not a bad name to lose to, you know? Oof. This is, his record is shit. Goddamn. I'm actually gonna go with the upset in Kazama Toshiomi. You know? In the win column, now that he's, like, not winless in the UFC, I think this is where he kind of starts to get momentum. You know, there's only so many, like, very young prospects. Like, it's one thing to be, like, a Teba Gutierrez, you know, where you're just genetically fucking bigger than everyone. I think he competes at, I want to say, welterweights? But bro, he looks like a fucking middleweight. I could be crazy. Maybe he is middleweight. Who did he just fought? He just fought Ryan. No. My brain's cooked right now. Regardless, there's a lot of young prospects that are slowly passing the test, the Malcolm Wellmakers and shit. I just don't... Like, if I can't remember Elijah Smith's performance against Vince Morales, I don't think this guy's gonna be that good. And I can just trust this Kazama kid. Like, you know, I think Garrett Armfield's, like, okay. He's like a Charles Radke, where, like, sometimes he looks like a world beater, sometimes he doesn't. Only he's not a, like, victim in his fights, you know? If he loses, he just gets outworked. So I'm gonna go with this Kazama kid. I'm gonna go with Kazama by decision. I reckon he gets, like, a 29-28. And people are gonna be like, robbery. But, I don't know. I just can't remember anything from this Elijah Smith kid that really makes me think he's gonna go on to be something. And he's already lost. Like, this would be one thing if it's, like, you know, like a Carlos Pratas fighting nerd type thing. What gym is he at? Team Victory. Yeah. Does have a reach advantage. Slightly taller. Both bantam. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna go with Kazama here. I can't trust this Elijah Smith kid. I just can't. Moving on. We have Julius Walker, especially maybe it's just the aura of the Japanese right now because fucking homeboy just won. Tatsuro Taira, he just won recently, so you know, maybe this guy's gonna get motivated, you know. But yeah, moving on, we have Julius Walker against Rafael Gekuera, whatever the fuck his name is. Now, Julius Walker, if I'm not mistaken, is the guy who fought against Alonzo Metafield and got fraud checked, but it was short notice, right? Yes, it was a split decision. I disagree with the decision, but Julius Walker looks like he's never done cardio a goddamn day in his life, alright? And Alonzo Metafield, somehow, in Big 2025, is proven to be like a decent gatekeeper. Rafael Kekuera, winless in the UFC, lost against Ibo Aslan in a victim performance. That's who this guy is? Yeah, I'm going with Julius Walker. Yeah. That's where he quit. He was standing, he got punched like 4 times, and he just covered up, and he just quit. He literally didn't throw back. He was like, alright, looks like I'm just gonna lose my flawless record at 11-0 at the time. You know? And then he gets fucked up by Modestus Bukaki. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going with Julius Walker. I'm not this high on Julius Walker. I don't know who the fuck's betting at minus 600 for Julius Walker. Listen, the guy did showcase he was good in round 1. But that gas tank's a fucking problem. Now, Rafael Kekuera, alright, also has issues doing anything to his opponent. So he's kind of got to do something. But I'm going to go with Julius Walker. Fuck this Rafael Kekuera guy. He's gonna lose. Cut him from the UFC. We don't fucking need him. Alright. Yeah. Bigger, reachier. He was fucking big when he showed up too. And that was short notice. Hopefully his cardio's improved. If he gasses out in round 1, it is what it is. But I can trust Julius Walker a lot more than I can trust a guy who's quit twice to 2 bums in light heavyweight. Especially now that we've seen Ibo Aslan fucking... Did he just win? He fought some... No, he lost to the other guy. I can't remember his name, but something Smith, I want to say. Elijah Smith, eh? Why the fuck can I remember Elijah Smith? Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked here. Yeah, Ibo Aslan fucking sucks. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with Julius Walker because this guy fucking sucks. Moving on, Eric Anders versus Christian Leroy Duncan. I mean, I don't think this is going to be a hard one to break down. This card, to be honest, isn't really a hard one to break down. I'm going to go with Christian Leroy Duncan. Why the fuck is Eric Anders still competing? You know? This guy, did he beat... Yeah, he did beat Chris Weidman. Right, because Chris Weidman fucking... He just had no gas in the tank. Eric Anders has no gas in the tank, alright? His other win here, Jamie Pickett. Arguably, Jamie Pickett won that fight. I'm just saying. Arguably. Jamie Pickett won that fight. That was a shit fight. Whew. Like, you're losing to Marc-Andre Barriault by decision, man. Like, this is just shit. There was maybe a time where I would have picked Eric Anders maybe before the Jamie Pickett, because the narrative was that, like, this guy is a freak athlete or whatever. He's not. He is shit. Like, he's terrible. All right? This guy's wrestling is terrible. It's telegraphed. It's slow. He can't set a pace because he's got no fucking cardio. His striking is absolutely atrocious to watch. All right? This guy literally looks like Ryder de Ritter striking from GM3. Like, it looks fucking terrible. Okay? But Ryder de Ritter now is obviously a little bit different. Eric Anders sucks. He's a ball of muscle, and yeah, maybe he's athletic. Bro needs to hop on a treadmill, alright? He needs to fucking learn from Marab and just start jogging to get some cardio, because that's how cardio works. Apparently, if you're Marab. But, yeah, Christian Leroy Duncan's actually good. If you beat Christian, it's because you are straight up just a better fighter everywhere. That is the only time you beat. Like, Gregory Rodriguez is dangerous everywhere. He's a better... I wouldn't say he's a better decision type of guy, but he is, like, more willing to go after it, more willing to get risky with it. You know, the Armin Petrosian, that's a tough one to think of, because I think Petrosian fucking sucks. But regardless, alright, that was a while ago, 2 years ago. You're looking at, like, an in-prime Christian Leroy Duncan right now. This guy has had really good performances. Like, his performance against Dennis Tululin, sick performance. I know Dennis Tululin kind of sucks. Claudio Ribeiro, not the greatest name, but another sick performance. Yes, he's been crushing cans, and he goes against someone with actual legit talent, and he loses. But the Andre Puliev fight, actually, that wasn't a bad performance either. Like, I'm pretty sure Andre Puliev had, like, moments of, like, rocking him. I want to say there was, like, a dangerous moment, if I remember correctly, for Christian Leroy Duncan in one of those rounds. But he's a good decision fighter, so I can trust this guy to make a decision. He is semi-dangerous on the feet, aka if you get sloppy a little too much on the feet, Christian Leroy Duncan is probably going to piece you apart. And he is good enough with the grappling, both offensively and defensively, to do something there, you know, reverse positions, get to his feet. You know, he's not going to get taken down and he's fucked. He will fight to try to get something going on the ground, you know, and he's active on the ground. I just think it's Christian Leroy Duncan everywhere. Minus 575 favorite. I won't be surprised if Christian Leroy Duncan's minus 1,000. I'm not betting this fight, okay, keep in mind, but Christian Leroy Duncan, that's my lock of the fucking card. I don't see this guy losing anywhere, okay? But yeah, Eric Anders fucking sucks. I hope he loses and we just retire him, get him out. We don't fucking need him. He's also gone through like a million shoulder injuries and surgeries and shit on all of his like delicate joints, like the shoulders, the knees. I can't trust it. Moving on, we have Miles Johns. Yeah, decision 30-27. Clear Christian Leroy Duncan. Moving on, Miles Johns versus Jin Matsumoto. For context, I know Jin Matsumoto. He ended up short notice fight against Rob Font. A lot of people were really high on Jin Matsumoto. I picked Rob Font. Hey, just another reason to follow the channel, okay? Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, hit like on the video, okay? Because apparently YouTube's fucking around with the algorithm. But regardless, yeah, Jin Matsumoto is fucking good. Rob Font is just a little bit too tough of a test for a young prospect like Jin Matsumoto. This guy's what, young 20s? Yeah, 25. Come on, Brett. Miles Johns is good, but he's a little bit, he's almost like, he's like those flyweights, like Charles Johnson and like fucking, what's that other guy? There's another one I'm thinking of. But Miles Johns is good. I've rated him for a while, and I've typically been right. He ended up losing to Felipe Lima. Now, Felipe Lima is, like, good. He's solid comp. I think Jin Matsumoto sort of wins this fight everywhere, as long as he can get the back. You know? I'd be a little worried if Miles Johns starts putting on a wrestling pace, and Jin Matsumoto just can't figure a way to, like, get to his feet and shit. But I can even see, like, Miles Johns shooting for a takedown, getting subbed. And if you're wondering why this takedown take, I know he doesn't shoot takedowns recently, but after coming off a loss, I think he's going to start shooting a little bit more takedowns, you know? And Felipe Lima's, a little, you know, he's talented. He's not that good, but he's talented. And Miles Johns did fairly okay against Felipe Lima. Jin Matsumoto, I think, is, like, tougher than Felipe Lima, though. You know? Jin Matsumoto's not a fucking, Adrian Yanez. You know? He's not a... What's like a grappler who recently got fraught? He's not like a Bryce Mitchell at featherweight, you know, where his wins are like kind of dog shit, and he's not really like he's beating guys, but they're not like great names in the division. Gene Matsumoto, I think, is like he can be something good here, you know. And if this is featherweight, I'm definitely way higher on Gene Matsumoto. For some reason, I think Miles Johns is a bantamweight. Why the fuck do I think that? Cody Gibson? Maybe that's why? Vince Morales as well? Yeah, it's weird. Why am I thinking he's a bantamweight? Felipe Lima is a fucking bantamweight, is he not? Am I crazy? Isn't Miles Johns a bantamweight? Am I losing the plot here? Anyways, I think Gene Matsumoto kind of wins everywhere. Striking's good. I don't think it's necessarily better than Miles Johns. I think this is going to be a lot of trading if they end up on the feet. Like, it's going to, you know, like every time Gene gets hit by a jab, he's probably landing a cross back type of performance. I'm just a little worried Gene Matsumoto might just start losing that confidence, you know, when he gets taken down and he's like, well, I'll just ride out this round, you know, because I sense that whenever he gets into some grappling exchanges. I think this Rob Font fight, if I remember correctly, Rob Font was laying on top of him in one of those rounds. And Gene Matsumoto just had no urgency to get back to his feet. If I remember, I'm pretty sure I'm remembering that right. So I'm going to go with Gene Matsumoto. He's good. I think he is like bottom 15 potential, you know? Rob Font, I just think is a genuine tough test for young prospects, you know? Miles Johns, I think, is just making a mistake here. I think Gene Matsumoto is just a better Felipe Lima. Like, a smarter, you know, maybe he doesn't always make the greatest, like, he might make a error. Felipe Lima's making the whole fucking fight's an error, okay? When he's striking, he's grappling. When he's grappling, he should be striking. Like, he makes a lot of errors, you know? The fight IQ is very questionable. But yeah, regardless, I'm going Gene Matsumoto. I'm not going to really think about this too much. Moving on, we have Andre Fili versus Christian Rodriguez. Now, there's an idea of Andre Touchy-Feely. Then there's Touchy-Feely Andre Fili. He's not that good anymore. There was a time where it's like, okay, his hands are a little bit like Cody Garbrandt. He's got the striking, you know, he's a little bit like Prime Garbrandt. He's got, you know, a lot of power in those hands, a lot of technique in the boxing, you know. He's got good in and out momentum, but I think at this point in Andre Fili's career, he's just washed, and I think it's time for Andre Fili to sort of pass that torch. Christian Rodriguez is like the ultimate fraud checker. Some people do pass the Christian Rodriguez test, but he is also a weight bully. I believe this fight's going to be at featherweight. I don't see, yeah, definitely at featherweight. Andre Fili in his last fight genuinely showed like some of the worst fight IQ. He literally, he shot Andre Fili shot a takedown into a guillotine. And if you know Andre Fili fights, that is, like, what the fuck are we doing, Andre Fili? Like, genuinely. I've never seen, like, lower fight IQ from this guy. You know? It's one thing getting into the pocket with Danny again, getting caught by an overhand right. Like, that's one thing. It's another thing to shoot a takedown against a dangerous grappler. And be like, oh, what the fuck? Like, that's literally like if you're a striker going against, like, Khabib and shooting a takedown, and then you get Darced or something. And you're like, what? How did that happen? Like, I don't know. Andre Fili was a fucking moron in that fight. I do think he's probably passing the torch here. I don't think he's ever going to be ranked again in featherweight. I think at one point he was ranked. I'm going to go with Christian Rodriguez. And I'm going to go with Christian Rodriguez probably by sub. I just think Christian Rodriguez is tough enough and smart enough to survive the early rounds. Most of the time, I think he did get finished. No, that was a... Wow, they both lost to Melquizael Acosta in their last performance. That's kind of crazy to think about, eh? Wow, both of them are the sloppy seconds of Melquizael Acosta. But yeah, against Austin Bashi, that's a really good fucking win. Austin Bashi just came out looking like Chase Hooper and whooped some guy's ass. Julian Erosa is... Julian Erosa, you know? I mean, the guy's tough as shit at 40 years old. He's fucking dangerous as shit. Apparently at 40 years old, he can crack. I think he just fought Melquizael Acosta. God damn. What the fuck is this? These guys lost to Melquizael. And then this guy also lost to a guy who just lost to Melquizael. Like, god damn, man. Mokwuzo Acosta fucking owns these kids. Anyways, yeah, the Isaac Dolgarian fight, like, a lot of these wins are, even the Cameron Simon one, a lot of these wins, granted, he is missing weight, and he is showing up, like, heavier, significantly, than his opponent, and just somehow pouring it on him in the later rounds, and there's arguments for robberies, but Andre Philly's dumb as fuck, and I just sense, like, Andre Philly's gonna be like, okay, I need something to happen here, I need to get into the pocket, gets caught, maybe clubbed and subbed, I can see that happening, gets caught, Christian instantly shoots for the back, you know, Rodriguez is good in his own right, so I'm going to go with a round 2 sub. I don't think it's going to be as easy. Like, I don't think Andre Philly's going to go in here and shoot a takedown right off the rip or anything that dumb. But I do think there's going to be a moment where you, like, round 1, it's going to look concerning for Philly if he can't get a striking going. And if he can't get a striking going, I think near round 2, well, that's where we're going to see a desperation takedown. And his corner's probably telling him, yo, shoot a takedown, take this guy down, lay on him, whatever. And that's where Christian Rodriguez is going to, like, stuff a takedown, do something with it, maybe get to the back via club and sub. Andre Philly's chin is also like, bro, you touch that chin, he's gonna feely it, alright? So, yeah, it's, not looking good for Andre Philly. Moving on! Izamin Lucindo. However the fuck you say that name. Versus Angela Hill. What's her record? 18-18? 18-14. Angela Hill. Somehow still in 2025. All right, we flip a coin for this, baby. Heads on the left, tails on the right. Heads. All right, looks like it's a heads fucking era. You know, she's the younger fighter by 20 years. Holy fuck. Angela Hill loses this one. Please cut her. God damn. Anyways. You know, losing to Amanda Lemos isn't that bad. Amanda Lemos is kind of good. She's the lady with a long reach, right? You know, that can be complicated for women's fighters to try to figure out. You know. Both of these women kind of look like men, so I don't really know which one's more attractive. I mean, Angela Hill's always going to be live, I guess, because it's Angela Hill, and somehow she's the Anthony Smith of women's divisions. She'll just randomly pull something out of her ass. Only with Angela Hill, it's typically a decision instead of like a guillotine out of fucking nowhere. But yeah, we're gonna go with Izamin Lucindo because the coin predicted it. Moving on, Steve Erceg versus Ode Osborne. I'm not gonna think too much about this. Listen, I got respect for Steve Erceg for taking the fights he's taken, but he's also dumb as shit. Can we just be real? Close fight against Pantoja? Sure, I'll give you that. He didn't win that fight, alright, despite what the fucking MMA guru, you know, beanie cult members would like to propagate, okay? Even though most of them, I think, held Guru accountable for that, because that's one of the dumbest takes I heard from him. But Steve Erceg lost against Pantoja, I think clearly a 3-2, but, you know, close moments. And then he lost to... he lost to Kaikar France by KO in round 1. Not a good look. And then he takes Brandon Moreno in a short notice fight. What the fuck are we doing, Steve Erceg? And then, when he takes the fight, short notice, in an interview, he literally says, yeah, I don't know what the plan's gonna be, but I'm gonna go in there and, you know, maybe I grapple for 25 minutes, and then, you know, maybe we strike for 25 minutes, you know? Maybe I turn into Nurmagomedov, maybe I turn into Alex Pereira. It is what it is. You're top 5 flyweight in the world, and you had that close of a decision against Pantoja, and you don't come into a fight with a game plan, and you're picking... You just lost to someone who's like, you know, maybe top 10, maybe top 5, arguably, Kaikar France, flyweight currently. And then you lose to him, you get smoked in round 1. And your first thought process is, yeah, let me just take a short notice fight against number 2 contender in the flyweight division. I get, like, I respect it because you're taking a risk. Take your fucking career seriously, okay? And that might be what this is, because this is a kid. Ode Osborne... He's athletic, but he's slow. And when I say slow, like, he's too patient is kind of what I mean. Like, he does sort of strike fast, but he is very slow to get striking going, you know? Like, he'll just stand there looking at you with a karate stance, you know? Maybe throw a flying knee once a minute. But, like, that's his combo. A flying knee, and then it's a minute of nothing, you know? I do think he did beat what was his name? Cristiano Ronaldo, whatever the fuck his name. Ronaldo Rodriguez. Yeah, he did beat Ronaldo, in my personal opinion. And he did beat Luis Garul, which is kind of crazy, because Luis Garul was 10-0 at the time. And that was another young prospect, and, you know, Ode Osbourne ended up finishing him some fucking hell. But regardless, Ode Osbourne, this is like a Hail Mary, Ode Osbourne KO type of situation, right? Like, that's what you're on the Ode Osbourne side for. That's what you're betting on. A fluke KO, out of nowhere flying knee on Steve Erceg being dumb. Steve Erceg, though, when he's on, he is on. Like, he's normally not that chinny, but when he is against a powerful dude, like, Ode Osbourne could chin him. I'm not, like, opposed to that idea. It's just that Steve Erceg technically is good. He's really good at scrambles. His striking is pretty good. He does typically have good distance management, you know? That's going to be hard against Ode Osbourne, though. So, I don't mind people picking Ode Osbourne, now that I think about it a little bit more. But it being a 3-round fight, I just think Erceg's going to lock in here and actually take this fucking fight seriously and actually watch tape on his opponent and actually come up with a game plan, you know? And if his corner doesn't give him good advice, cut the corner, and this guy gets cut from the UFC. Pizza Boy goes back to Domino's. It is what it is. But yeah, I'm going Steve Erceg by decision. Ode Osbourne is very finishable. And this would be a good showcase for Steve Erceg to show that he's finishable. But at this point in Steve Erceg's career, I'm not trusting this guy with my money. I'm not trusting this guy at minus 400 to get a finish, you know? I just think he's solid everywhere. He's not really that good anywhere. And I think that's what we found out, you know? And normally he does have, like, a reach and height advantage in his fights. He's not going to have that big of advantage in this fight. Brandon Moreno, midget. Alexander Pantoja, midget. Kai Kara France, midget. And they've all beaten this guy. And now he's going against a lengthy dude? Like, I don't know, man. You know, it's possible Ode Osbourne gets chinned, maybe because of weight cutting and everything, but I don't think Ode Osbourne is that chinny. That chinny. Man, yeah, he's a little chinny. It is flyweight at the end of the day. Moving on, we have Roman De Lince versus Anthony Hernandez. The Fluke Master versus the Fluke Meister here, okay? Somehow, Anthony Hernandez has been able to fluke his way to the top of the fucking division, okay, at middleweight. Middleweights are shit, but still, like, crazy. You know, Marc-Andre Barriault, fine. Edmund Shabazian, fine, right? Roman Kopylov, I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, Kopylov was the favorite here. I was pretty high on Kopylov. I think I picked Kopylov to beat Anthony Hernandez here. He ended up getting submitted pretty easily by Fluffy Hernandez after getting his ass whooped in round 1. And I do mean he got an ass whooping by Roman Kopylov in round 1. Like, striking-wise, Fluffy's not there, all right? He's weak to the body, and almost every single fight, he looks weak to the body. Now, I will say, he might be fucking gaslighting me here, okay? Because this guy, he might be one of these guys who fakes an eye poke and then fucking rips an overhand right, okay? Because there's so many fights. The Michel Pereira fight, also, he faked getting weak to the body, or maybe he was, and then he just pours it on him for 5 fucking rounds. I just, huh? What? Like, I don't know how this fucking guy survives every time. In the Brendan Allen fight, he even looked like he was crumpling in some of those grappling positions, you know? But this is where I did pick Brendan Allen, because I thought Brendan Allen was just better. Or, sorry, I thought Anthony Hernandez was just better than Brendan Allen. Brendan Allen is fucking dog shit. But, low IQ, dumb. Anyways. Anthony Hernandez, while he is good, I can't tell if he's genuinely hurt in his fights. Like, I've rewatched those, like, round 1s and 2s against those strikers, and he gets fucked up every time. And I don't understand how he's either still standing, because he's got no muscle on him either. This guy could be a welterweight. He also doesn't take his career seriously. This guy will say, yeah, I don't really watch the sport. I kind of just train and they call me for fights. Aura, but, like, still, bro. What the fuck? How the fuck are you top 10 middleweight in the world, fighting a top 10 middleweight in the world, and you're You're just casually, lackadaisically going through the UFC, man. Like, what? God damn, anyone can become a UFC champ these days. Now, technique for technique, though. Roman Dolidze is the better fighter. And I know that's weird saying, because if you've watched my channel for a little bit, I shit on Roman Dolidze a lot. That Mavov fight, I still don't know who the fuck won that fight. Okay? I know there's a decision here, but every time I see that fight, it's literally like watching two oiled up men just fucking wrestle with each other. I still can't comprehend that fight existing. In my opinion, he got robbed by Marvin Vettori 1. I thought he won that fight. He beat Anthony Smith, retired his ass. Okay, let's be honest. No, but Anthony Smith fucking sucks. He beat Kevin Holland. And this was a TKO rib injury. Kevin Holland literally quit. He got taken down. And it was like, my ribs hurt. Someone stop the fight. Stop the fight. He got to his corner and he literally quit. And then the Marvin Vettori fight. This fight was actually entertaining from Roman Dolidze. And this is like the Roman Dolidze I'm sort of looking at. You know, past performances aren't really good. He's got the Dricus du Plessis gas tank, where it looks like he's always on zero. Like, it looks like he's always on empty, but he's always going to be there, you know? He will always push, you know? And this at a 5-rounder is kind of interesting, because he will always push a 5-round pace. He's been in a few 5-rounders. So, cardio-wise, Anthony Hernandez probably has, like, the weathering a storm ability. Striking-wise, Roman Dolidze, I know Marvin Vettori's a punching bag, still look really fucking good against Marvin Vettori. He was landing clean shots that if those shots landed on Fluffy, a guy who doesn't move his head, a guy who's weak to the body a lot in his fights, you know, he doesn't fucking... He's shelled up to the body a few times, and I think if Roman Dolidze can find that chin, he might be able to put away Fluffy Hernandez. And this is going to be interesting, because these are two really good grapplers, really good jiu-jitsu guys. Okay, not wrestlers, alright? Not that pussy shit, alright? Real men's grappling and Brazilian jiu-jitsu. These guys are both really good at jiu-jitsu. I think this is mainly going to be a stand-up fight. I think Roman's going to be able to stuff the Fluffy Hernandez takedowns. But Fluffy is the type of dude to sneak to the back, like, while standing type shit. Roman Dolidze, like, I know he's getting older, but he's not really showing his age. This is a tough one for me to predict, I'll be honest. I feel really bad for Roman Dolidze. This guy got top 2 in light heavyweight and in Jesus Christ, motherfucker. He got top 10 in light heavyweight and middleweight, and he announced it in the octagon. He's like, I am one of the first fighters, top 10 in 2 divisions, light heavyweight and now middleweight. I think that was when he beat Anthony Smith, by the way. And the crowd went silent, okay? People gotta start putting respect on Roman Dolidze's name. I'm confident in Roman Dolidze winning this one. I don't know how. Probably a Looney Tunes Dricus du Plessis blueprint type of style finish, where it's just like a really weird spinning back fist or some shit that catches Anthony Hernandez. Now, Roman is chinny, could get finished. Like, Roman is a fighter that there's always the potential he could get finished. There's always a potential he might gas out and get subbed. There's always a potential he might get chinned. But, if I'm looking at this fight, who is going to fight for my money, right? If I'm putting money on this fight, you know, plus 260 odds, let's just say I'm throwing $10 either side, all right? And I gotta put my money on it. I would be more comfortable putting my money on a guy like Roman Dolidze. Even if he was, let's just say this was even odds, I'd be more comfortable putting my money on Roman Dolidze. Only because I know he's going to fight until he gets finished. Like, he's not going to be at the end of a round being like, oh, I'm already down in this round, let me just ride this one out and we'll come back in the next one. He will try to win rounds. And that's what I like to see in a 37-year-old, you know? He's not one of these, like... you know, burst in the first 3 minutes and then take the last 2 minutes off, because nowadays the last 2 minutes are what counts in the final rounds. But I'm personally on the Roman Dolidze side. I think it's going to be like a... Roman Dolidze's showcased pretty good fight IQ recently. Ignore that voice crack. So I think Roman Dolidze is probably looking at this guy being like, yeah, he is weak to the body. Let me spam body kicks. You know, he's taller, reachier. I like that. Yeah, I think Roman Dolidze wins this one by finish, you know? And because I can't do by finish, I'm going to say I reckon a KO in like round 2, you know? Maybe even round 1, but if I'm looking at this fight, who's going to fight more for my money? I think Roman Dolidze is, you know? There was times where Anthony Hernandez like ends up on bottom, or times where Anthony Hernandez is getting pieced up and he's not doing shit. He's just sitting there right in front of him, you know? But, you know, then you have Brandon Allen shooting a takedown, ending up on bottom somehow, losing that fight like a fucking retard. You have Michelle Pereira gassing out within the first 2 minutes of that fight. That's not Roman Dolidze. Roman Dolidze is going to fight until someone, like, gets finished, or they make it to a decision and they're both tired of shit, you know? So I'm going to go with Roman Dolidze, man. You know, yeah, this has been my picks and predictions for the whole card. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, I want to thank you for watching. Again, not sure how many videos I'm going to be getting out to, this week, because I am still sick. I've been sick for a little bit. We'll see what happens. But, yeah, feel free to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Hit a like on the video. Comment maybe a fight you disagree on, okay? And we can start arguing in the chat. Yeah, if you made it to the end of the video, I want to thank you for watching. And as always, I hope you have a good day.